how do I support my grieving best friend while celebrating my own accomplishments?
Tell me more.
So a little bit of context. Me and my best friend and like her husband, my husband, we're more like brothers and sisters than best friends. And we had really similar short-term, long-term life goals. We were on track to reaching those goals soon, like buying a house, having kids. And then she called me one day screaming that her husband had just been killed in a car accident.
Oh, man.
And so we went through, sat in the mud with her, got through those days, those weeks, those months. And now the hard thing is her life came to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
But me and my husband, we're still moving on. We're reaching those goals that we were going to reach at the same time. And I feel stuck because I still sit in the mud with her and go through the hard times with her, talk on the phone whenever she needs me. And then I hang up with her and my husband's home. And then suddenly it's like, oh, hey, this is great. We just bought a house and we're reaching these goals. And I feel like I'm emotionally flip-flopping a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure how to continue to support her long-term. Yeah, I guess that's kind of where I'm sitting.
One, sorry about the loss of your friend, man.
Thank you.
And actually, sorry for the loss of both your friends, because your best girlfriend she's a different woman now. Her life is different now.
Very.
And that's one of those, you had plans, right?
Lots of plans. Yeah, we were like, we were those friends that were going to build houses and have them conjoin.
Right.
Because, we just want to live our lives together in a sense.
Yeah, and it's fun to dream about being old, fat rocking chair people who, I hate that for you, man. I'm sorry. Been there, and I hate it. So this is hard the way I'm going to say it, but I'm going to be pretty direct. And if you and I were just sitting down talking and we had a couple of hours, I'd be a little more gentle. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
How long ago was this wreck?
This happened, I think, 3 months ago.
The wreck happened 3 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I would tell you until year 1 is up, the smoke hasn't even begun to clear after 3 months. The paperwork is done. The T's have been crossed and the I's have been dotted. But grief hasn't even begun to begin to ebb. Not for you and your husband, especially not for her.
Right.
My rule of thumb is no. In fact, I told somebody this morning in a personal phone call who's just experienced a pretty tragic loss. No decisions for 6 to 9 months. No quitting jobs, no getting divorced, no selling houses, nothing for 6 to 9 months, just because you don't know what day it is, man. And so I'll tell you that 3 months is still, she's still waking up and reaching over to the other side of the bed, right?
Right.
And she's still walking through the house on a relatively good day in a wave of grief. She'll find herself curled up in a fetal position on the floor. Doesn't even know where it came from, right? And she calls you.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a transition time, and maybe it's now. Everybody does this differently, so there's not a right way. I love Kessler says grief is like a fingerprint. It's unique to everybody. At some point, in 3 months, actually, it's pretty raw. Maybe in another month, maybe another 2 or 3 months, and you knowing your friend, is now's a good time or not a good time, is you cannot become her therapist. You got to stay.
Right.
You got to stay her friend. And for friends, there's a clarifying conversation that goes along something like this. It's similar to you have a best friend who just went through pregnancy loss, and you find out you're pregnant. Mm. Those conversations have to be had directly, head on. Me and my husband are buying a house. We are going to start having a family, or whatever the things are. And I want to honor you by you set the gauge on what you can hear and not hear. But the greatest gift, Heidi, you can give for your friend is to be fully you. And fully you is also grieving and also experiencing some pretty awesome personal moments.
Yeah, that was kind of hard for the first little while because I felt like I didn't know if I needed to almost not hide it from her, but
No, I get
she's
that.
going through the worst part of her life. And I'm like, hey, we just bought our dream house.
That's exactly right.
It doesn't really seem like an appropriate thing to say. But then at the same time, not sharing it with her also felt like I was betraying her.
Well, it feels like you're lying, right?
Limbo. Yeah.
Well, I think there's I think I'm just a huge fan of putting it all on the table. Like saying, I love you so much, and this is so weird. I don't know what to say, so I'm looking to you for how I can best love you. Like I can't even wrap my head around being in your situation, and I will always be your friend. And also, we just bought this gigantic house, and we'd love to have you over, and I don't know how to say it. And giving her permission to say, like, if you can't come over, I totally get it. And also, if she's like, oh my gosh, I need somebody in my life to be having something good happening. You get what I'm saying? So I think putting on the table and saying, I want to love you, and I don't know how to do that right now. I'm going to look to you for guidance.
Okay, that's helpful.
And there's also, here's the thing, that's a real thin line, because also the single most annoying thing that can happen to somebody who just got tragic news, Kelly and I've talked about this a lot, is they find themselves getting bombarded with, how are you, texts. And then they feel like they have to answer it in just the right way so to not make anyone else have a bad day. And suddenly you find yourself having to take care of everybody in your life. And you're the one, like you're the one hurting, right? And so there's that weird, I'm your best friend, so I'm going to keep showing up with meals. And I'm your best friend, so I'm just going to show up at your house. We're going to go for a walk, and I'm going to point blank, like, tell me what you miss about, tell me what you miss about Mark. Tell me. I want to hear it. And her eyes might get real wide and be like, yeah, we're talking about it, unless you don't want to. Like, so there's that. And then the other side of it is, I don't know your capacity for hearing great news. And I don't want to bomb you. And I just don't know what to do. Can you help me, give me some guidance? Do you get how there's a tension there?
Mm-hmm. I do.
And I guess just get it out of your head. You're going to say something stupid. You just are. All of us do. I do this for a living, and I still say stuff, and I'm like, whoa, let me take that back. I didn't mean to say it like that. I still do that.
Well, I'm glad I wouldn't be the only one.
No. And I love that you're trying to get this one right. I if I'm being honest, it sounds those of us who are around the blast but aren't immediately affected in as profound a way, if that makes sense, which sounds awful. This is one of your closest friends on the planet. But there's concentric circles, right? And she's at the very center of this thing. Mm-hmm. It's easy to, quote unquote, try to get back to the way things were.
Yeah, I think that's definitely where I was at first, in those first weeks and months even. But then it was, at first I was like, I don't want to lose another friend.
Yes.
And like you said earlier, I had already lost her.
Yeah.
And so coming to almost relearn who she is now and who she still will become in the months and years.
And who you'll become. Because it would be wild if your husband isn't 5 minutes late and your heart rate goes up 10 beats a second, like 10 beats a minute.
100%. Every time.
Every time, right?
I start panicking.
Right. Or you see his phone is like he's supposed to be home at 6 from work and he calls at 6:05 and you grab that phone really aggressively. Like you're different now.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
And it's just metabolizing it. Everything in your life is different because you now know how precious it is. And you look at your big, handsome, tough, mustached husband. I don't know. I just made up a whole caricature of your husband. Who knows? But you look at him and you now have in your nervous system, deeply inside your body, any second he could go away.
Mm-hmm.
And that changes how you grieve. That changes how you guys fight and how you repair it, how you make up, right? How you make sure you tell each other you love each other before you go. And so there's something to be said for you and him getting on the same page too. Like, hey, this is 3 months after you lost your best friend on the planet. Tell me how we're doing. How are you doing? What are you noticing about yourself? The big things, the little things. You be honest. Every time you leave and get in the car, I catch my breath. And that's just how a couple grieves together. Y'all going to grieve at different paces. And he might be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm good. You're not fine. You lost your best friend 90 days ago, right? But everybody just does it different. But yeah, for her 3 months, yeah, she's just getting started, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's the grief, and there's a lot of other factors, like, he didn't have life insurance and debt and all those things that came tumbling down. And it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And being able to tell her, I love you. You can always call me. I'll go with you to your first counseling appointment, but I can't be your therapist. I'll direct you to our money manager person, the smart investor I use or whatever. Like, I'll point you to that, but I can't make your money decisions for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really a hard conversation, but that's also a blessing. And she might say, well, then screw you. I don't want you to call me anymore. And she gets to do that for a season 2 because she's just a raw, exposed nerve.
Yeah, that would be more than fair. I could understand that.
Yeah. And you can say, like, all right, you don't have to talk to me right now, but I love you, and I'm going to call you again. I'll call you till you block me, and then I'll probably still keep calling you. You can still keep showing up at your house until you tell me, do not come here, right? And it usually doesn't get there, but it's just expect the swings and expect the hard stuff. It's just awful, man. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
But I'll tell you this, man, being a friend that's trying to get it right and being a friend who's I just love your spirit, I guess. I mean, it's easy to be like, why can't she be happy for me? Like, you acknowledge her whole world's over, and she's just sitting in the ash of what once was, trying to just like pick up half-burned photographs to see if it still looks right. You know what I mean? Like, she's just trying to figure out all 10 fingers and 10 toes kind of thing for her, and it will be that way for some time. And so, you setting the boundary and just putting on the table, I don't know, but I want to love you. I don't want to be here. And you let me know what you can handle. And by the way, she might be like, I want to hear about all the good stuff. I can't wait to hear. And then you start telling her, okay, we just bought our dream house. It's this big. It's amazing. It's the one we looked at. And then you'll hear the other phone just go numb silent. That's okay. Or she plans to come over to your new house and like look all around and like help you decorate a room. And then 5 minutes before she calls and says, hey, I can't do it today. That's when you exhale and give her grace and say, I totally get it. Love you. Let's put another day on the calendar, right? It's just going to be that sort of rhythm. And you having the courage to say, whoa, I'm going to stop you right there. I can't be your therapist on this one, but I'll go with you on the first meeting. And you letting her know, I love you, and here's my boundaries.